Hi, it's Mr. Bennett here. Now I'm going to help you go through the supermarket calculations, and I'll just show you the first one. So what you've got here, if you open up the spreadsheet, it's got the cereal conditions here. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you've got the number of stock. All right, so that's how many are actually in the store, and the wholesale price. That's what the supermarket buys it for. Now what we want to do is work out our retail price, what we'll charge the customers based on a 80% markup. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this, and what you do in Excel is to put a formula in. Then what you do is you use equals. So you press equals, and we want to relate this to the cell that we've got, which is the C7, which is the price of Cocoa Pops. And we're going to times it by, so use the star, we're going to times that by 100% plus 80% markup, so that's 1.8, enter. All right, and we're going to do the same thing for all of these things in this particular retail price. So what we do is if we click into that cell, we just put the formula in, go to the bottom right hand corner, and we drag that down. That will actually work out all of those things, okay, in one go. Now, looking at what happens in the next cell, if I click on the next cell, it's going to be C8 times by 1.5. The next one will be C9 times 1.5. C10 times 1. So this is the idea of using Excel. It saves you time. Now, what would happen if I changed the price? If I made that $3.10 over here, you'll see that that might not be $4.64 anymore. It changes. All right, you got the idea? So the idea, if you have your input cell and then you're using that and you reference the cell rather than the actual number, it will change automatically for you. Now we also have to add on GST. Now GST is 10% of what you're doing. So again, our wholesale retail price, we have to click on that over here. So that's D7. I'm going to times that by 10% plus 100%. So that's 1.1. All right, so that's going to tell us what we're going to sell this for in terms of with GST added in. All right, so that's the first bit. So again, I went to the bottom and I dragged down, okay, to fill that down. Now, discount rate. So our discount rate is going to be different for everyone. So discount price. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go equals. Now, if you're taking 20% off, then that will be 80%. Okay, but I mean, these are all different. They're not the same. So we're going to use a special formula for that. So here, what we've got here is we've got our price, and we're going to times that by, now 100% would be 1. So, so what we're going to do is we're going to have 100%, take away whatever discount there. Now if I did that, inside that bracket it's going to be 100 take 20, which is going to be 80. Right, so then what I need to do is I need to divide that by 100 to make that a decimal. Right, so if I do that, that's going to tell me what my discount price is. Right, so that's what I'll be selling it for. Now I'll do the same thing over here. And the reason is that's going to be now pulling F8 out. So that will be 100 take 30, which will be 70%. And so they're getting in my prices. Now they don't format really well there. So if you highlight those and go to dollars and cents, and that will change those to be dollars and cents. All right, awesome. The profit per item. Now the profit per item is going to be equal to your your wholesale price, or the difference between your wholesale price and your discount price. All right, so if we go equals, and we've got our discount price, and we take away our wholesale price, this is what we pay for it, then that's going to give us our profit per item. And again, we fill down, go to the bottom right hand corner, fill down. And the last column over here is I have to work out my income. So if I sold 527 boxes of Cocoa Pops, right, then I could actually work out what my income was. So that would be simply equal to, now if I'm looking at my income or if I'm looking at my profit, I probably should change that heading to profit. So that's equal to that cell there and it's going to be times by the number that we sell. Okay, so the profit in that particular stock is equal to that much. So we've made nearly $1,000 on Cocoa Pops. All right, we fill those down. Now, if you get something like that, it just means the box isn't wide enough. So a little trick is to click at the top there, and that makes it wide enough. Now, the other thing is, what we have to do is add all these things up. All right, so there's a nice little function in Excel called Auto Sum. So if you go to Home and click on that funny looking thing up there, what that will do, it will sum all of those things in that column and put it in the next column there for you. All right, and I'll just bold that. So in terms of our serial line, what we've actually made is we've made that much money. Now, what happens with people quite often when they're doing this is they will, when they work out the GST, they'll use the actual value rather than using the cell. Because look what happens here. Let's say Cocoa Pops become really expensive for some reason. Let's say the wholesale price goes up to $7. Now what will happen is everything changes in my spreadsheet. All right? If I had that and I used only the number that was there, then that wouldn't make those changes. So that's defeating the purpose of using Excel. You might as well use a calculator to do that on a piece of paper. All right, so now what you have to do, you have to do the same thing, all right, very similar thing when it comes to doing your discounted price as well for that. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the activity. If you need some help, make sure you ask your teacher.